Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. Our next guest is a family physician, the CEO of Green Harvest Health, and an author. She joins us to highlight the work that she's doing in medical cannabis, to speak about her book, Courage in Cannabis, an anthology of inspiring stories written by heroes. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Bridget Williams. The doctor is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Bob. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course, there's a lot of inspiration behind putting the pen to the paper and starting a book. What started you to write Courage in Cannabis?
As soon as I really got into the cannabis space, seeing patients, and I was handing over those medical cards, and for some of these cards I'm handing over, I had big burly men crying. And I was like, there's more to this story. And so in the course of getting to know my patients, I learned how cannabis had helped them, how it was changing their lives, giving them more options, more mobility. But I also learned a lot about the shame and guilt that they experience by using a substance that was considered illegal prior to that moment. And so the stories were really compelling. I actually started writing them down, and I had the opportunity to publish those stories a while back. However, I did not feel like they were mine to publish. And so I kind of put a halt on it, and then learned about giving people opportunity to write their own stories, as well as financially benefit from them. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Now, you didn't start out as a medical doctor, did you? What made you want to get involved in becoming a medical doctor or physician?
So, yes, I've been a physician for over, I think, 22 years now. And so I started out in family medicine. I'm from Detroit originally, went to U of M, went to Michigan State. Yeah, there you go. And then found my way down at the Cleveland Clinic to do my residency in family medicine. So I've been in the medical space the entire time. My original passion, my degree from U of M was psychology. So I think I've always been interested in the human experience.
Yeah.
And that was something I really wanted to bring more to medicine. But yeah, my first vocation has always been medicine.
So cannabis as a medicinal drug or thing to use, how did you get on that?
So probably about 15 years ago, I was frustrated. This was early in my career, way too early. I was frustrated with the current medical system. For every drug, there's a pill. If you don't like the pill, we give you another one. You got side effects? We'll actually give you one more, right?
Let me give you one for the side effects.
Exactly, right?
You have a big case, a big purse full of pills.
The pills, the bags that people would come into the office with all these pills. And all of this is supposed to happen in quick 15-minute visits. Wow. And that was frustrating to me. I think having the psych background and that it didn't seem like this was something that was helpful for patients to do it in this manner. And my patients were even more frustrated.
Yeah.
So I ended up meeting a patient 15 years ago who I was actually helping get off of medications. And she mentioned cannabis. And to be honest, I'm a Reagan kid, right? Nancy said no. And I thought the brain would fry, and the egg. And you remember these commercials from the 80s. And I'm from Detroit, during the drug war, and saw the worst that could happen to communities. And so I was apprehensive, but I looked it up and was really blown away by the medical information. I followed her in her journey, supporting her using cannabis for her diabetes, as well as she had just recently finished treatment for breast cancer. And I really saw her health and her mentality change in front of my eyes. So that was my first exposure to cannabis and medical cannabis. And so when it became legal in Ohio, I wanted to be a part of it.
There you go. Doctor, what stigmas or misconceptions would you like to clear up about the cannabis and, all of the things associated with it?
Gosh, there's so very many, right? Number one, there is viable, helpful research in this area, and it's growing every day. The more we get closer to legalization, the more we can have established institutions do more research, which will make it even a stronger case to use this medicinally. I think that's one. Number two, which probably comes up the most with patients, is that you don't have to use cannabis and be high. That CBD
They
and
take that part out of it, right? Was it THC? They take THC out
no,
of it?
even with THC, if CBD and THC are used equally, CBD will block the euphoric effect. So I've had patients that I've been treating for the last 4 years, and they've never been high one day, ever. So I think this is, and I think the assumption is that everyone's just walking around high all day, and that's not the case. Yeah.
And it smells the same. It does the same thing except for the high part.
Well, it's funny about the smell. So that's an interesting, because, as I grew up where weed was stinky, right?
Yeah.
And
they call it, there was one that was called the skunk smell.
Right, it's stinky. Yeah, it has that scent. And what I think I've discovered over time, as well as what I've realized, is that we think roses smell good because we've been conditioned to believe that, right? And so when you burn it, without a doubt, if you burn, even roses sometimes, but when you burn cannabis flower, that's why you get the skunky smell.
Yeah.
But if you just smell it before it's burnt, it actually has beautiful fragrance of lemon and pepper. And, that is, it's also the most medicinal part of the plant. We talk about CBD, we talk about THC, but it is those essential oils that create that scent, the terpenes of the cannabis plant, that actually have a great deal of the medicinal value. So yeah, when you burn it, you get the skunky smell, but if you just smell the flower by itself, it's not so bad.
Doc, how is cannabis saving lives or improving the quality of lives in our community?
Absolutely. So we now have an option medicinally for patients that for many had run out of all options. A great deal of my patients use cannabis for pain, anxiety, sleep, as well as, many other conditions. But for many patients, they have no other option, that they have had liver damage, kidney damage, stomach issues related to their medications, and there really aren't other options. So cannabis gives an option without causing damage. And so people that were living, so much of our community lives in pain. Every day. And they don't, and outside of opioids, they really have no other option to treat it. Cannabis has allowed people to live a much more functional and active life without causing damage or addiction.
Another question, what is next for Courage in Cannabis and other projects that you may be working on? You didn't tell us about. Yeah.
Right. So Courage in Cannabis is my passion project, but I run my own medical cannabis company. I have 2 CBD lines that I am running, as well as I'm a life coach, and I teach and write curriculum for the Cleveland School of Cannabis. So that's, a whole nother side, but the book was something. Yes.
No, go ahead. Talk about that book.
But the book, which has 18 authors that share how cannabis has changed their lives, is very much a model like Chicken Soup for the Soul. So we'll be looking. Yes, absolutely. And honestly, the stories are inspirational, they're educational. We give them to churches and parents and legislators to help them understand a different side of what cannabis can do and CBD can do.
Yeah. Doctor, the big thing is cannabis coaching. There are big budgets out in different states.
Absolutely, absolutely. And actually, I'm doing quite a bit of work in New York.
That's where one of the big budgets.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of educational opportunities in New York as you guys are growing out on your end. But we will be looking for new authors in the fall. And so if you are someone that has a cannabis story and would like to, and it's not just submit your story and I publish it, it's an experience. We create a cohort of people that network together, that we do interviews together. So there ends up being a really amazing group of people that share their stories in the book.
Now when you say share, I'm sorry to cut in, right? But when you say share your story about using cannabis before the medicinal thing came out?
Well, the book is made up of everything under the sun. We're
Got it.
doctors and lawyers, parents that had to give cannabis to their children for seizures or cancer, entrepreneurs that share their story, activists.
Doc,
And we
you
have
gotta come
legacy
back.
people as well.
You got to come back. We got to talk. We got to go deeper into this. We got to go deeper into this. But I like what you're doing. Thank you for putting this all out. Thank you for sharing this information. Where can we go for more? Is it on a website?
Absolutely. Go to courageincannabis.com. You can see all the authors. And if you would like to leave a message at the bottom, you can share an opportunity to be in the next book.
There you go. The Cannabis Coach.
Yeah.
Dr. Bridget Williams, MD, family physician, author, and CEO, Green Harvest Health. We thank you. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Bobby C's up next. He has the latest in the world of sports. Don't move. Here we go.